Today I have somebody who have traveled from wherever. She's going to tell us, and also she's going to introduce herself. On this channel, we just talk to people who have traveled from one country and settled into another country, and they are going to tell us their journey and why they decided to move from one country to another. So where did you come from?
Thanks, Uncle Johnny.
Yeah.
My name's Jamie. I originally come from the Philippines in Manila, so right in the city. The Philippines, yeah.
What made you come to Australia?
So I came to Australia essentially because of the opportunities for education, better education.
Yeah.
But now I was thinking about it on the way here, and I think at its core, one of the reasons why I came to Australia is because I wanted to spend more time with my mother. She left when I was quite young, and this was an opportunity to actually get to know her a bit more and live with her and just spend a lot more time with her.
So your mother initially came here?
Yeah, she moved here about,
Who were you staying with when you were back at Philippines?
My father.
Your father?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you were raised with your father.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you came, you went straight away to stay with your mother?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
After not really spending a lot of time with her growing up, she'd visit every now and then, probably 3 times a year at one stage.
Yeah.
It was interesting because we had a lot of similarities, which would mean that we'd clash a lot as well.
Okay, yeah. I would imagine that. I do have 2 girls, and they clash with me most of the time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, when you came here, did you find any similarities between the Philippines and Australia?
In certain areas, yes. So when I have gone to Sydney or like other more populated cities in Australia, I found that it's quite similar to where I grew up because Manila's quite a dense city as well, and everyone kind of just keeps to themselves. But when I moved here, I moved to the Central Coast, so it's a lot more spacious, and I think people appreciated nature a bit more, which reminded me of, like, I spent quite a bit of time in the provinces in the Philippines, and kind of reminded me of those times as well, and going to the beach with my father and just saying hi to random strangers on the street, which I just absolutely love.
Did you find any language barrier when you came? I assume you were speaking English in Philippines when...
So grateful to have learnt English since I was quite young. Learnt American English, so I had a little bit of a twang when I came here, but that's kind of just gone away over the years.
I think the Aussie English is a bit different.
Yeah.
Did you find any difficulty with that, the Aussie
Mainly
English?
with the slang, and sometimes people would talk way too fast. But even now, I've got a stepbrother, and he just talks so fast. Sometimes I just have to say, like, slow down.
Slow down, So now you understand what they're saying.
It just takes a little bit of more processing time sometimes, but it's okay.
So when you came, did you go to school?
I did year 11 and 12 when I came here. I moved here.
And then?
And then after that I went to uni here in Newcastle and did a few internships here and there, went over to Germany and then came back again. And now we're here. Just love Newcastle as well.
Okay. How did you find the food in Australia when you first arrived?
I missed the variety in some sense. I missed my local food in the Philippines and the street food as well. Here I feel like we have to go into like these buildings to be able to eat food.
Well, especially we don't have any food, street food in Australia. No, we don't have.
Unless you go to markets. In
markets,
which usually, I'd love to.
It happens once in a month, something like that. So now I'm just assuming your mother was already here, so it was not difficult for you to find your food because your mother could go and fetch the food and bring it. Did you specifically miss any type of food?
I miss. There's this Filipino cuisine that's called lumpia, which is kind of like big spring roll, but it's fresh.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's lots of different types of veggies. This really nice sweet sauce with some peanuts, and it's wrapped in this kind of like a spring roll pastry, but not. And it's just massive.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I haven't seen it here. So yeah, that's probably fresh lumpia. That's probably the
you can eat that on yourself and finish.
Yeah. And one of the street foods as well that I miss, it's called isao. Which is, some people might be a bit iffy about it. It's chicken intestines, essentially.
We eat
and
that.
It's just on like street food. Yeah,
in Africa we eat that. We eat everything in the.
That's what I
we
really.
We don't waste anything. From the head to toes. We eat everything, so we don't waste anything. So I think we're just similar.
Thank you for reminding me. That's what I've missed as well. Like being able to appreciate when we do eat meat, being able to appreciate the whole being that we're consuming, not just certain cuts, because there's so much waste that goes back into wherever they throw it as well.
We don't waste anything. So I want to know, day one in Australia, what happened and how did you find things around?
Fun fact about moving to Australia. My first trip overseas is also my move to Australia, so I've never been overseas before.
So that was your first time. I want to know the first day in Australia. What happened? How did you find your way? I know your mother was already here, but just on yourself, how did you find things?
Internally, I was a bit, probably emotionally, mentally, and physiologically confused. Emotionally, because I had just left my father, who's just raised me and been through everything with me, and my half sister, who was 3 at the time, and that was heartbreaking. And my stepmom over there as well, and all my friends, and like my whole network was in the Philippines. And then, moving here day one, it was in the middle of winter, and from the Philippines, all year round, it's just humid, and I hadn't experienced winter before. So I had 3 layers of clothing in Australian.
Very cold for you,
in Australian winter. Now looking back, I'm like, I don't even wear that now.
You've accustomed to the climate.
So that was interesting. Thank you. Interesting reflecting back. And mentally, I was so nervous because there's just so much uncertainty, but excited at the same time. I feel like nervousness and excitement's kind of like a similar level in terms of feeling.
So you went to your mother's house, and then you are looking at stuff. Was there something you was trying to figure out? What's this? Or how do we do? How do we go to the shops or something like that?
For me, I think one thing I noticed with that, probably didn't really have too many questions as to like how to go to the shops or anything, but I did notice that, like, I'm going to need to drive a car here because I'm not in the city anymore. All right, cool, that's it. I'm excited to learn.
So you started to learn how to
drive.
Have you gone back to Philippines since you've come back here?
I try and go once a year, and this has been the first year that I haven't been able to go back.
How was it? The first time you went back to Philippines?
It was, it was a whole range of emotions. I think. Going back, excited to see my family and friends again, and also a little bit sad to leave Australia because that first year I was just really enjoying my time here. I think going back to the Philippines, I felt like there was that thought inside of me that thought like, if I go back to the Philippines, I might like it too much and not go back to Australia. Like, it just came to my mind. Just excited to see everyone again and excited to experience the culture again.
How did they receive you? Because now you are an outsider.
Different groups of people. So certain groups of people welcomed me in just like nothing came between us.
Yeah.
And then certain groups of people seemed like they were kind of walking on eggshells around me.
Yeah.
Because, oh, you're a foreigner now.
Yeah.
Like, this is still my roots. Like, I'm still very connected to the land in the Philippines and the people. And whenever I go back there, I still speak the language fluently.
Oh,
and
okay.
my accent just switches.
Do you speak your language with accent?
Yes.
Does he have some Aussie accent, or you just,
Certain words. So so the language in the Philippines, the main language is Tagalog.
Yeah.
And certain words, if they're kind of a mixture of English and Tagalog, which we call Taglish.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Taglish. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I had noticed that I'd have a bit of an accent the first few days, and then after a few days it just goes away.
Yeah, okay.
And then when I come back to Australia, I have a bit of a Filipino accent, and sometimes I'd accidentally blurt out Tagalog to my friends and not realize that I'm speaking to them in my native language, and they just look at me with blank eyes, like, oh, sorry, you can't understand me.
You're from Philippines. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really very interesting. Now, when I'm just assuming if you want to advise people from Philippines who want to come to Australia, maybe to study or to see family, what can you tell them? What do you tell them to expect to find in Australia?
My main advice would probably be to just be open and just be yourself. And yes, that's so scary. I feel like that's quite a general advice to give to people. But I don't know, for me, like that's the core of it.
Considering yourself, how you came and you find out things and whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like, generally speaking, just, be true to yourself and be open to experiencing new things and exploring with new people and exploring with yourself.
Don't close yourself to your people too much.
And find being open and being yourself, I think, allows you to find that community that aligns with you.
Okay.
In a sense, and things will just flow naturally.
I think that's a very good advice to people. But now, let's assume that people want to go to Philippines from here. What can you tell the people who want to go to Philippines? Where can they go and what do they expect?
Oh, where do I start? In the Philippines, as you land into the Philippines, I'm just imagining the airport. It's just so hectic. Not the most organized airport from my experience with traveling, and other people have said it as well. Although they have been improving the last few times I've been there. It's a bit cleaner. In the city is quite dense. It's one of the most dense cities in the world. And it's beautiful in its own way, depending on what you like. But personally, I love being out in nature, so the city was a bit too much for me. And the provinces are just, I can't even begin to describe how beautiful it is. So in the Philippines, there's 7,107 islands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
people can visit that.
People can visit so many islands. There's still some islands that are uninhabited. But so many beautiful islands. There's so many beautiful spots for surfing, kite surfing, scuba diving, any water sports you can think of, hiking, mountain bike riding, and just, people are generally quite friendly and welcoming. I remember growing up, that's what we kind of pride ourselves on, is being hospitable in the Philippines. Apparently that's what we were known for.
Did you find that here in Australia when you arrived? That people are friendly and you can talk to basically anybody?
Not everyone. I feel like there's always that small percentage of people. I came here and, as I mentioned earlier, did year 11 and 12. And I think that was the culture shock for me, was seeing the school system.
Yeah, okay.
And so in the Philippines, we have so much respect for our teachers, and we even have a day on the 28th of September, which is called Teachers' Day.
Okay,
and students kind of collaborate to create this performance and day to celebrate the teachers.
Oh, to dance for the teachers.
Dance and sing and just do activities with them. And here, well, I was in a public school, and I just saw these children disrespecting their teachers and swearing at them, and I was just, that was the biggest culture shock for me. I was so confused.
That one shocked you, yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, these students are in trouble.
I couldn't understand why they were doing it.
Yeah.
I thought, what is happening in their life that they have to project onto their teachers like that?
I think because they have so much freedom, and so yeah, that one is shocking as well. In my own culture, we don't talk to teachers like that. We give them much, a lot of respect, because they take care of us when we are out of our home or houses. The next person is the teacher there. So I can't imagine telling the teacher those nasty words. Yeah, it's just terrible. So now, since you brought this issue of school, I want to know, how did you manage year 11 and year 12 in school? Did you make a lot of friends, and what happened?
I made quite a few friends, and I'm still friends with some of them now.
Yeah.
Probably the pivotal moment was in visual arts class.
Yeah.
And like the teacher told me to sit with this group, and I didn't really click with them, and it was a bit awkward, but that's fine. Just sit in the awkwardness and see what comes up for me. And then one of the girls came up to me and asked me to join their table. She must have sensed that I was a bit uncomfortable and awkward. And we just connected, and she's just such a beautiful human. Yeah. And from there, like, made friends with her friends as well.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, she passed 2 months after knowing her.
Oh, okay. What happened?
And they found her car wrapped around a tree really early in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, she's left. She's just, as you walk into the room, she's just that bright, bubbly, sunshine kind of energy.
Yeah, there's always somebody you get connected to. Even if you don't talk, but there's that eye connection thing, and then you just connect a bit easily. So it was easy for you to make friends in school? In
some regard, yeah. I think, grateful to have those people that are welcoming to meeting new people and just taking them under their wing, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So assuming when you joined the uni, you already had some exposure to the Australian culture, so it was easier for you to go to the uni and connect with people, was it?
Yeah, I think that definitely helped doing year 11 and 12 first, and being able to adapt into the culture a bit more through that before going into uni. And I worked in a restaurant as well, and kind of just accelerated that adoption, I suppose.
So you were cooking food?
I was serving. Was serving and waiting tables. It was an interesting experience because at that job is probably where I've gotten most of the racial slurs that I've experienced in my whole life. Yeah,
let's not open that kind of worms.
I just found it interesting. I don't take offense to it, but
it's a bit interesting that way. But I've also gone through that thing. But anyway, so the other question I want to ask is, your father, have he come to visit you here in Australia?
My father's stepmom and half sister visited me for my graduation. When I finished university. And that was lovely. I took some time off work and got to show them around, like a little bit of New South Wales, not much. They only had, I think, 3 weeks here. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
But
3 weeks is a lot.
Yeah, true.
So you went everywhere in New South Wales?
To some places. We spent a bit of time in Sydney, Blue Mountains, up near Nelson Bay.
How did they find it?
Around. It was springtime and they found it cold.
Yeah, people from overseas coming here find this place cold, especially the first time. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, but when you stay here a bit longer, it's just a bit normal. Yeah. So did they like it? Your father, did he like this place?
Yeah, he really enjoyed it, especially because it's not in the city as well.
Yeah,
I think him and I are a bit similar in terms of we love going into nature and just connecting with nature a bit more. Yeah.
Did he ask you, come back home, my daughter? I want you back to Philippines?
Yeah, every now and then he definitely still asks that, and I can imagine myself. So I guess for me, I'd like to get to a stage where I can just live there for 2 months every year, or for them to come over here. But I do want to spend more time in the Philippines once traveling is an option again.
Yeah. Probably next year in about May, June, there we'll start traveling again.
Yeah, and just explore more of the Philippines and just understand more about my culture as well. It's since moving here and just connecting with different people in different communities, I've learned a bit more about the indigenous culture here, and it's kind of inspired me to learn more about my culture. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You miss your culture when you're away from it. That's the time you realize, this is what we really miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we build a deeper appreciation for it. Have you found that with yourself?
Yes, very much. Yeah. Sometimes there's nobody. In my house, I only speak English. I don't speak my native language. It's only when I talk to people on the phone back to Kenya is when I say, really miss that. And we connect on the phone that way. And there's nobody here to talk to. So I just speak English with my family at home, and they can't speak my language. So we really miss that a lot. And since there's no traveling, so we just here.
Interesting. Do you find that when you hear someone speak your language just out in public, you kind of gravitate towards wanting to speak to them?
Yes, I want to run and sit and talk to them and say, I speak the same language with you. Where do you come from? It's so interesting. The first few years when we were here, like about this is going back to 2002. If you see somebody who is similar to you, you run to them and ask them where they're really very interested to know where they've come from and all that stuff, and you want to be friends. So it's we miss that a lot. So but now it's because we're just busy, work, home, and whatever, so we don't see a lot of other people as well. But we'd like to have that kind of connection. Very interesting. So it seems that you connected to people very easily, and you didn't get a lot of difficulties when you arrive in Australia.
Well, I think so. There's always hurdles, but overall I just enjoyed my time here and still enjoying it.
Especially because your mother was here too. She helped you a lot to find your way through.
My mum and my stepdad have helped me so much. The first 2 years living with my mum was quite challenging because we just didn't know how to live together. So that was really interesting.
Were you rebelling towards your mother? Did you come as a teenager?
I was 16 when I came. But I had gone through my rebellious stage beforehand. So this was interesting in that, because she missed those parts. So she, at certain point, she was speaking to me as if I was still a lot younger. And that's where the clash came through. Which we've managed to just talk through it and just work out. Now I've got a beautiful relationship with her.
Well, you have to realize when you're 16, you are just a child.
Exactly.
So anyway, it happens everywhere. Even in my community. The 16-year-olds think they're adult, and and we are trying to put them in their place to show them that no, you are still a child. So it happens in the Philippines as well.
I find that I've met quite a few younger people that are not adults, that are full-grown adults,
Yeah.
mentally and emotionally. And I've met quite a few people that are adults that aren't full-grown adults,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, like
Yeah,
mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. That, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting, just different where they're at in their life, I suppose. But yeah, we've always got lessons to learn. I suppose. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jamie. You've got a very interesting story there. Your journey is very interesting. And you've also traveled back to Germany, you said?
Yeah,
You went to visit friends or something like that?
When I was in university,
Yeah.
I really wanted to get more experience into the workforce.
Oh, okay.
But the course didn't really have internship options.
Yeah.
So I just found my own internship option
okay.
and I'll just move to Germany for 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So if you want to listen to Jamie, she's got a very interesting story and she's traveled to Germany. On this channel, we talk to people who are travelers. So she can advise you much about traveling to. Did you speak Germany when you went to Germany?
Yeah, I learned a little bit before I moved there just to
okay.
prepare, and then when I moved there, the host parents that I lived with taught me a bit more. So at the time, I could function enough that I could ask for directions and just navigate through without needing too much help. But sometimes, and accents, I find that I adapt to accents quite quickly.
Okay.
So when I was there and I was speaking to like people at the bakery, for example, and I'm just ordering the bread for the week, and they'd speak to me really fast, and sometimes I'd respond really slowly, and they'd speak to me again like, "That's all the German I've got. I'm sorry. Can you speak to me in English now, if you can?"
That's good. So before you go to another country and they don't speak the language you speak, try to learn that language. Little bit, basic.
I find that it's respecting their culture as well. And just acknowledging it. Yeah, Kenya's definitely on my list as well. I've got a friend there. So yeah, that's inspired me to
Oh well, when I'm going to Kenya, I'll take you to Kenya.
I'd love to learn a bit more about the language and the culture as well.
It's easy. You'll take 2 months since you know how to learn languages. And it's very good. We'll not go in the city. We'll go to up country, which is very good. Which there's fresh everything. We just go to the farm and uproot the vegetables and cook. Straight from the garden. It's very good.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much, Jamie, for appearing on my YouTube channel.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
It was fun talking to you. And I hope next time if I need to talk to you, you are available.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Such a good conversation. Had a good time.
Okay, thank you.